I manage all my finances, so that's the investment portfolio, mortgages, purchases, payments, cost sharing, and more, all straight from my phone. And in this video, I'll tell you the exact apps I use and how they fit into my overall financial system. If you want to get some inspiration on how to manage your money, this is it. So just watch until the end. First, let's start with the day-to-day apps. So these are the very basics. And for that, I have a folder on my phone. I'll just go through that now. But it's called Finance, and this I have, for instance, Nordea's app, which is my bank of choice at the moment, and you can use the Nordea app, for instance, to track income and expenses, to see your cash flow, to make transfers inside Denmark and also outside if I need to, and you can do, again, all straight from the app. It's really quite robust, and I have the feeling, or from what I hear as well, is that you can do the same with the Danske Bank app and the banks from other banks as well, so it doesn't need to be that you need to use Nordea. And then, of course, if you have a mortgage, as I do with Nordea, you can actually keep tabs on the mortgage inside the app as well. And then there's the Nordea wallet app that they have built as well, which, to be honest, I don't really use so much, but it just gives you some nice statistics on how you use your money, and you can see some information about your cards and so on. Then the other classics that I have here is MobilePay. So MobilePay is this pay with mobile pioneer in Denmark, which you can use, for example, to pay for the hairdresser, to send money to friends, and sometimes now even shopping online. So it's super practical, and I also recommend that as well. I also have Klarna, which is this buy now, pay later app. I have only used it twice, and I have to say, like, it was a good experience. And again, like, not that I use it all the time, but if you want to shop something, it just makes it pretty straightforward when it comes to checkout and so on. And the last one is Undo, which is the app I use for my home and overall insurance here in Denmark. There's a link to that in the video description. It's super convenient because you can just change the policies of what you are insured straight on the app with just one or few taps. And then if you have a claim, for instance, when my helmet exploded because I crashed in a dumb way, let's not talk about it now. When I crashed, I just went to the app, noted all the things, added some photos, and like 2 days later, it was all done, and it was just easy to do it. And again, all straight from the phone. I didn't need to open my computer. Now on to the fun stuff. Let's get into budgeting. So I have been tracking every single expense I have done for the last 11 years. So if not more, this is something absolutely you don't need to do. It's just definitely an overkill, but I just got used to it. And now that it's just, for me, so easy and automatic to do it, I just keep doing it. And again, the data is useful. So for that, I use Spendee for my daily tracking of expenses. You just open Spendee, and you'll see that you can just add a spend, just put like how much you're spending. You can put different categories. I put these categories myself. For instance, if I would say, okay, I'm gonna go in eating out and I spend like 300 krona eating out, I would just easily add it like this. And you can do almost anything you want with a free version. It's pretty good. So I pay $1 a month because then I can have like the opportunity to have multiple wallets, and I have one to travel, one to be home, as well and so on. That's super convenient as well. But I mean, if that's the type of thing that you find interested, just go for it as well. Then I use Splitwise to track shared expenses. So in my family, I have my own money. My wife has her own money. We have not merged or combined our finances yet. Hopefully not in the future. We have been together for over 10 years, and this has worked very well for us. So we'll likely make a video about that in the future. So if that's your cup of tea, subscribe to the channel and you'll learn more about this maybe unconventional financial system. But what we do so far now for many years is again that we use this app called Splitwise to track our shared expenses. And the way it works is that we have different like groups. We have, for example, one for the expense for the children, we have one for the May 2022 expenses, but we also have one for the home. We don't have any cost for that, so it doesn't show up here. But every time I have something that I have bought for the family, meaning that I went to the supermarket and bought food or bought something for the kids as well, I would just go and put it in here. And we then settle this up at the end of the month and say, for example, here I say that my wife owes me 700 something krona, and then from this side, and then I owe her something for the kids group as well. And this is just super convenient because it's a way for us to track, and again, takes like seconds a day. It doesn't even take more than it's just super easy and super convenient for us to then never have to worry about money. We never really in more than 11 years discussed anything about money, and the fact that this is really incredibly helpful for that. Last point on Splitwise is that we are on the free program. The free version of Splitwise is really good. So unless you have multiple currencies and you need to really complicate things, Splitwise is the way to go, and can't recommend this app enough. So yeah, I would even pay for it if I had to, but yeah. For now, it's not necessary, so that's great. Then we have Revolut. So many of you know about Revolut from my previous videos, and this one over here. Revolut is the ultimate financial app. It's even its own category in the video, I would say. But the gist is that every time you pay with your Danish cards abroad, you pay a hidden fee. So if you pay in euros, you pay 1.5% on top of what you are supposed to be paying. And if you pay in any other currency, you will, like dollars or dirhams or whatever, you will pay 2%. In practice, what this means is that every time you think you're spending 1,000 krona abroad, you're actually spending 1,020. And the way you avoid all these fees is by using Revolut or any other similar service like Transferwise or N26 and so on. I have just been using Revolut for over now 5 or 6 years and I just like that, but again, there's similar services. The idea is that then with these services you get a prepaid debit card you can use to like fund up straight from your account and then use that as your like physical card of choice outside of Denmark if you want. But also you can actually use it to pay for stuff online, and it's just super convenient because it's kind of this online native bank, which makes a lot of things super convenient. For instance, each time that I'm paying for something online for Amazon, it's just easy to go to the Revolut app, click on my bank card, copy paste all their numbers like automatically, and just makes things super smooth. So I absolutely recommend it. Again, Revolut doesn't sponsor this video, but I 100% dig the service, and there's also a link down to Revolut in the video description if you have not seen that yet. Last is that I have 3 more apps that I use to track my investments, and I have them hidden on the phone so you can really see them when you scroll around the phone, because I just don't want to track my investments all the time. So I could have easily added the Nordnet app here or the Cointracker app here as well and so on, and just be checking like crazy my investments to see how they're doing every single day. I used to do that for some point and I just realized it was definitely not helping, so I just put them really hidden in the iPhone, so you can have this trick, right, that you can just hide different tabs. So I have a tab hidden with a lot of things that I want to have on my phone but I don't want to see now. And those apps that I use, I'll just tell you by name, and you can actually find them when you go to the app library as well. Is first Nordnet. So I use this app to track all my investments. You can just buy and sell shares straight in the Nordnet app. But for instance, the main thing I do in Nordnet is monetary sparring, and you can't do monetary sparring with Nordnet's app. So that's a bit of a bummer. You just need to go with a web version. But in any case, for most things and for most jobs, the Nordnet app on the phone is pretty good. And again, like the interface is really nice. Then I use an app called Cointracker to track my crypto investments across platforms. So if you have crypto all over the place, it's just nice to have one place where you can have a good overview of your whole portfolio. So if you just use Coinbase, maybe that's all you need. But if you use like 3, 4, 5 different services, sometimes as I do, it's just good to have like this one place where you can actually see how much is your whole portfolio. And even like Cointracker is pretty good in the sense that if you pay extra, the app also tells you how much you owe or you need to pay in taxes each year, which again is super convenient. Again, especially like in a place like Denmark where the taxation principles are pretty complicated. Last is MobilePay. So as part of Maersk, I get Danica Pension. That's the deal that they have over there, and there's an app for Danica as well, and you can see in the app how much money your pensioners advisors are losing for you each single month. But I hardly check my pension because again, like I'm gonna get pension when I'm 69, so not that I put a lot of special emphasis on that. And again, like as I said, that advisors are not doing their best job. Hopefully in the future they'll get the opportunity to move the pension into my Nordnet account and invest it the way I want, but so far it has not been possible. And that's all. I like to experiment also and learn on new apps, so if you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments. Next up, you should watch this video over here where I get into more detail and about how Revolut and other apps can help you save on bank fees. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again next week.